In today's episode of Strike Gold, we talk about Nike's new campaign. Is it worth sacrificing everything? And
why Apple actually broke every marketing law it invented in the worst way possible.
this is Jonathan Kahn and Roy Povarchik, and you're listening to Strike Gold.
Yeah.
So
What's up?
What are we talking about today?
Well, my friend, actually, there's a thing you wanted to talk about, and I want to talk about with you out loud.
Okay, so let's start by talking about the Nike ad.
Yeah,
Okay.
you were buzzed about it.
No, so I'll tell you what happened. I saw it, and everyone was sharing it. Everyone's putting it up everywhere. It's on Facebook, and people started memeing it, and they're doing all this funny stuff. Great. But, I watched it, and something felt off to me.
What?
I think that the slogan just doesn't feel right. It feels like too extreme. I don't know. That's just me.
Too extreme.
Yeah, I feel like
what was the slogan? Was
what is it? Believe in something,
even
even if it means sacrificing everything.
Yeah, it sounds like the Avengers Infinity War.
No. For me, it's you have the terrorist boot camp, and that's what they have behind them. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. I don't walk about. That's what I felt like it went a little too extreme. But maybe they should throw in a couple of like little asterisks on the bottom that say believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything except for your family, your loved ones. Try not to hurt anyone.
That was the thing. The sentence was too extreme.
What if Nike wrote us a sentence that said just do it even if you have to kill yourself?
You took it to a very dark place.
I'm just saying it's a little extreme. There has to be a thing where it says be the best that you can be. I'm like, okay, that's the
I just basically looked at it and I said, oh, that's like a classic Instagram photo. And I thought they actually made the safest bet. It's like watching every inspirational quotes out there in the world, which is about you're gonna fucking lose, but you have to struggle, you have to hustle through.
Yeah.
It sounds like something Gary Vaynerchuk would have put on his Instagram without Nike asking him to it. I actually think Nike is if I'm not mistaken, they're a client of Vayner Media. I'm not sure.
Oh, really?
I'm not 100% sure. I thought it was very actually risk-free.
I kind of feel like what you're saying right now is the slogan should have been a slogan should be don't search for happiness. People get shit done when they're starving.
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe that's it. The whole hustle thing is not saying sit back and let the money come to you. It's saying work your ass off and shit will happen.
Don't you just feel it was just any classic inspirational quote on Instagram? You have a celebrity's face.
I feel like this one's gonna drive terrorism way up. This is gonna.
No,
go do it no matter what it takes. Sacrifice everyone.
I just felt basically they're taking this inspirational quote, which can resonate in any Instagram account in the world. Sounds like the most generic.
I think that's the point. They want to be able to stick it on everything. They want the memes and stuff to come out of it.
But it's risk-free because they were basically voicing out a person that his opinion right now is the consensus. Everybody hates Trump in the U.S. kind of thing. So
you're saying
that's
the
NFL,
the trend. Okay, so the NFL controversy. So let's go give a little bit of background. So okay, so this player goes and he does something during the Pledge Allegiance that basically shows that he's not with the America of today. He feels that it's very wrong, and he does that kind of thing, and the NFL kind of I'd say blacklists him from what I know. I mean, he's not signed with any team or anything right now. And people are kind of they kind of noticed that the NFL kind of took it out on him. And then Nike, who is one of the main, the massive sponsors in the NFL and have a long, I think it's till 2023, have a contract with the NFL, goes ahead and makes this ad without letting them know. And it also runs in the beginning of, I think, the first game of the NFL. Again, I'm not a really big football person, but there's this controversy of how could they do this without the NFL knowing? How could they not give a heads up and all that? And you're saying right now it's they took a sure bet. And
basically, so first of all, I don't believe the NFL didn't know anything about it. I don't think the NFL runs ads not knowing what they're about to run. I don't think it caught anybody by surprise.
You're right, I think. Yeah, you remember that whole Scarlett Johansson Soda Stream one?
Yeah.
Where it was a band ad and then he ended up doing this quick one?
I think it's basically they're hyping off each other and that's it. Like I don't believe
it's not damaging.
And also like it's not. It's also it's like I think the only people who are like teasing about this are advertising people, in a way, and like basically let's say the old gatekeepers, which are like so shocked about and they're basically voicing out the most thought out or the most consensus kind of opinion in the U.S. right now. What is it, like new or defying to support somebody who hates Trump? That's the most generic thing in entertainment, to hate Trump.
So wait, so here's a weird question. So like, if I'm a company right now and I have a brand, and I'm not saying even a small company, I'm saying you have an actual brand, would you attach to this thing? Would you not attach to it? Would you steer away?
I think it's
like, how is this decision made to kind of go off?
But this aligns with company value. Are you a bold company? What are your values? So Nike has
companies that go around and say my value is not to be bold. It's very quiet and under the radar.
No, yeah, but those are not the interesting companies.
Yeah,
usually.
I know they're not the interesting one, but have you ever come across a brand that said like, oh, our branding, our statement is their statement is bold. It's not supposed to be like not bold. They're supposed to be out there and bold. Everyone wants bold now. No one turns around and says, I want to stay very quiet.
No, but it means that. You can say we're very bold, but you can also say we're very solid and trustworthy. So if like I'm in finance, my brand is not going to be bold most of the time.
So you're saying it's not going to have a gay
that's why Lemonade are so exciting in the insurance world, because they're an insurance company
that's bold.
That's bold, which you don't see nice. Versus like let's just all be safe.
True.
It's like everything they do is like they have a bold statement.
They have bold, their statement, their name.
Their premise as a company is bold. It's saying like they fucking suck at doing this. We'll get it done in like seconds.
Yeah, onboarding experience in seconds.
And Nike is the same thing. Nike is about pushing the border, pushing your limits. Like just do it. It's you. It's about empowering
it's funny,
you.
Because now it seems like we're getting to the point where how much limit can we push more? So they're like, you know what? Sacrifice everything. Next one is sacrifice your life.
But it's a classic Vaynerchuk quote. That's what I feel. It's not as. I feel that if you go on Instagram right now, that's the level of inspirational quotes you will see anywhere. We had this idea once. To do this Instagram thing with the Instagram account about like be careful who watches your quotes, and do like this entire generic inspirational quotes, but put Hitler's face on it, or like and you have it's like whenever like you have that sentence like the stupid thing. I just
wait. So your idea is to make
like at the beginning they laugh at you and then they fight you and then you win. So you can put like on fucking Hitler and be like, oh wait. Maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
that's on every fucking inspirational quote. Because if your vision is dark, then it's just.
So you're saying just do it on a Hitler picture?
It's still bad, right? Even like
just do it.
Even if you do another bullshit one, the impossible, I'm possible, slap you in the face, shitty quote, right? Then you can put this on like a KKK member.
I'm beginning to hate text, by the way, because there's always like a double meaning to everything. Like I'm like, whenever I get an email, I show it to my wife. I'm like, what does this mean? She's like, well, it could mean this or it could mean that. I hate it. That's why, context, you know what? Man. I work only in video. That's it. Only video. Clients especially. When I get an email, like I write, this is the price quote, and they go, that's the price quote? And I go, either it's that's the price quote or that's the price quote. Like I don't know what it is. I always take it to the negative one, and then my wife always goes, you need to just think of it as the positive one all the time.
I agree.
Text. I
agree.
So what my wife is basically saying is, don't put Hitler's face on any email.
Yeah, that's like the bottom line. That's the
bottom line. And that's what you need to know, marketers. Don't put Hitler's face on any marketing materials.
Unless that's your audience, and then I guess don't do it. Don't do it. Don't ban us. Anyway, so I think what was genius about this, and I feel about this a lot with content, by the way, is that they kind of, you say the obvious thing, and it works. Because it's like basically...
Is it because of the simple-mindedness? Like, people just need something very simple they can leech on.
Yeah, it's...
Like, just do it is very easy to get it. It's like 3 words. Like, you know how we're, like, looking for slogans and they go, don't go over 5 words. People can't handle 6 words. Like, that. Maybe that's it. We just need something that seems easy enough for them to remember. Like, I was watching the ad.
This is why everybody remembers
enough to sacrifice everything for it.
This is why most people remember I have a dream, but they don't remember what the dream was.
Yeah, they know it. I had a dream. If only I could remember what it was.
Right. But I think what Nike did that was interesting is that they made a very safe move seem bold.
Okay.
I think it was a very safe move.
But I think that's what you said before to me, like that Nike can do that, but another company can't necessarily.
Well, because
they copy another, like a slogan or one of these easy ones off the internet, and they post it on their Facebook. We're just going to assume they stole it from a 16-year-old girl.
Right. But what I have to say that Nike did really well with this one is that they were able to resonate the Instagram vibe or the inspirational vibe that people are looking for on the internet, and they were able to make it work for an ad, which usually doesn't work. Like the quote is something you would never think of as a creative. Well, maybe you would, but like
I have a million in my head.
But maybe no. Most companies wouldn't use that kind of a quote because it feels too out there, just being inspirational. But if you go on Instagram and you really work with that on Instagram, you know that all these cliche quotes work really well. This is why you can put like stupid quotes on like with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the background, even if he never said it.
I think that's their positioning, though. The concept of their positioning is that we're not talking about sneakers. We're talking about you pushing yourself even further.
No,
so then they can put anything.
No, but the way they executed. Yeah, so Dove can do it with something like the possible and the shitty.
Yeah, whatever it is, they can do anything. Any quote that has to do with inner beauty or then they could throw it out there. It's just really how strong your brand is and what you're pushing.
Yeah, so but for example,
pushing emotion. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I went to a Coca-Cola event of this where they basically said, Coca-Cola equals happiness. We are pushing the emotion of happiness.
Right.
If you can leech your brand onto an emotion, everything about that emotion can become yours. You can say
own your space and own that emotional space.
But it's crazy to turn around and say own an emotion, because Coca-Cola is a drink. If anything, it deals with thirst. That's Sprite, by the way, but it just deals with thirst. It's not about really happiness, except for when they used to have cocaine in it. Then it was really about happiness. No, but the idea was that it's not about happiness, but they kind of attach themselves to this emotion, and that allows them to attach to millions of different things.
I think the problem with Dove, for example, is Dove is still so.
Are you still seeing things from Doves? I don't even see that much stuff from Dove anymore.
No.
What, they just calm down?
But as
they're like washing their company.
Everybody's clean now. We can stop.
We've moved on. We've sold enough soap.
I just think that Dove, for example, it just doesn't stand for anything. It's just so.
It was
balanced in the middle.
I don't know what it's doing right now, but
it's not for beauty.
No, it was standing for inner beauty, like to see yourself in the positive way. Like a lot of women. I just watched that new movie with Keanu Reeves, To the Bone, or something like that, where it's about what's it called, anorexia and whatever.
Okay.
So it's like, again, a lot of people take it to the drastic. Either I'm fat or I'm thin.
Right.
So they turn around and say, okay, these women have been judging themselves in front of the mirror. By the way, I judge myself. No, I don't. Not at all. But generally, they judge themselves very harshly, and they said, okay, calm down. You're beautiful. You're clean.
But the problem with Dove doing it is that Dove is a beauty product. It's like basically their entire real essence of product is saying, you're not clean.
You're not clean enough.
You're not good enough.
Just wash off. No, they're saying wash off the makeup. Be the real you. See, there you go.
Yeah. But that's
funny. That's such bullshit. I just made that up. No, sorry. No, but it makes sense. It does make sense.
No, but
so wash off all the layers.
But you know what? So Dove, for example, if Dove would have done this,
Doves have they have wipes to remove makeup.
I don't know, but if Dove, for example, had this,
they don't make lipstick. There's no Dove lipstick.
No. It's not cosmetic. It's like, well,
it's kind cleaning. It's always cleaning yourself and being you, the true you. This episode was sponsored by Dove.
I'm just thinking about two scenarios which I think could be really. Either useful or just like stupid and funny. Like I think that if Dove would have done this thing, like just like your beauty, like you're most beautiful as yourself, and they did this whole campaign with like famous celebrities without makeup, men and women, by the way, that would have been awesome because men wear tons of makeup for like celebrities. I think that would have been like a really good campaign for them. And then you start with celebrities, and then in social you bring it up to like regular people doing the same. That would have been like a really good campaign.
There'd be a lot of ugly people then. No, I'm just kidding.
I think that.
Sorry, just had to say.
And I think like
some of these people need makeup.
The other version of this could have been like, clean yourself up, you're dirty.
But maybe that's why we're not hearing so much about them, because now there's a lot more feminist movements and stuff like that. They're kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna be preaching the same stuff.
I just think they're gonna be torn apart.
Yeah.
Because Dove is
maybe they're like feminists will come up and go like, you know, hardcore feminists will be like, I don't even wash myself. I'm the true me. I still have amniotic fluid all over my body.
No, I just think that it's so it's obvious that Dove doesn't really care about feminism. That's what I think. Like
I don't know. I don't know if that bothers me so much. It was more
me neither.
At the time it was more like, oh, they're talking about something that not everyone's talking about. Kind of like, I don't give a shit that Axe is not really going to get women to come and lick my body. But
yeah,
I still spray it all over my body. Like,
right.
All over. No, but I'm just saying, it didn't really matter to me. It was just clever. It sounded like something you want to smell good so that other people feel good about it. You want to attract the girl because they're aiming at teenagers. Because who the hell wants to spray a deodorant that smells like chocolate cinnamon on your body? It seems very weird. Strippers, that's right. Strippers and teenage boys who believe that they'll get people licking them.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we should have started this podcast by saying, I believe in this podcast.
Yes.
So I sacrifice everything. And I live in this sound booth.
We now live at Rise.
This is actually a great opportunity to introduce our sponsors that allows us to record in this sound booth. Hundreds of FinTech companies are on the streets, starving, looking for a place to work. Rise. That's the place. Start working in the co-working space at Rise. That's what I'm saying. Just listen a little bit more. A co-working space where you can survive and flourish. Flourish. And that was it. I hope you like that.
That was one of your best ones.
Thank you.
So far.
It's really funny that I record these after, so we just introduce it and we have no idea what's going on.
But I'm setting up the bar, so you have to really fucking outplay yourself.
No, I like the last time you actually said something like, this was the best one I've heard in this episode. And I was like, oh my God, because the last one was way better than this one.
So I'm actually happy you said this one right now, because it sets me up to the second topic I wanted to speak with you about. The boring ass Apple event.
Okay, so just to be clear, September 12th, there was the Apple event. This is days after the September.
Yeah. You might have listened to it or watched it, but you forgot because your mind kind of blanked.
Yeah, my God.
That was so. I'm like an Apple fanboy. For me, I want to justify whatever they're doing, and the only way for me to justify this is that next time they're gonna crush it.
Next time. That's like, I think that for the last like 10 times I've been going, next time. You all wait and see.
I think they kind of played it with the iPhone 10. I think it was a really good launch. I think the product was
I think more people were confused when the iPhone 10 came out because no one knew what happened to 9, and they were all like, "What's happening with 10?" And what's going on?
No, but in terms of like the launch itself,
and
was
like
good.
My wife asked. Okay, so I love my wife because she's the most innocent, normal person. You could just write a case study based on her. Her reactions were, 1, why are there so many old people talking to young people on the stage at Apple? And 2, why the hell is that black bar on the top of the iPhone XS still there? Like, why is it still there? She expected it to disappear by now.
I don't get why people are so obsessed with it.
No, it doesn't bother me. I've seen it on your phone. I have the 8 Plus, which was, I don't know if it was a mistake, because it's $1,000 freaking dollars for an X. $1,000.
Huge mistake.
I could never justify to myself spending.
Well, you can now buy the XR or XS or XS Max.
Yeah, but also that's one camera. I need those portrait pictures.
Listen, okay, so yesterday that event was such a first of all, it was so fucking boring. Second was
where is my fucking headphones? That's all I wanted.
It was like 2 hours talking about wearables for elderly people who might fall. And like they took one of the products supposed to be like the sexiest products in the world and the watch thing, and they killed it with so fucking long and boring. And they basically, it was so hard for, like, I admire their copywriter for being able to speak about the iPhone so long and saying the same thing every fucking year.
Yeah. I love the sentence.
We had a drinking game.
This is the most revolutionary.
But they don't do it. But they don't even use revolution anymore. Now everything is faster.
Oh no! But he always starts with saying like, "It's the best. It's the best one we've ever made." Of course it is, because it's the newer one. Right. If it was less good, no. And then I don't even think they're talking about some of the other ones, like the R or whatever. That was probably not the best one.
No. The R was like I just showed you the device I think is amazing, but this one is kind of cool.
Yeah, this is like, we're gonna make it cheaper so that you can't complain.
I think. I don't want. I'm not going to even go and talk about innovation. Apple is losing it, etc. Because we're a marketing podcast.
We are a marketing podcast. If you didn't know.
So I don't care. Let's say that Apple is in top of innovation, or whatever. Never mind. I'm not going to go into it.
What are the top 4 things that you feel wrong with?
So my biggest issue with yesterday's event is that I felt like this company was so trying to stick into a formula Steve Jobs built in terms of how you present products that they totally lose context of what they're actually launching, and they lost the entire nuances that made every Steve Jobs presentation good. Or again, I'm not going to go even it's a better phone, not as good phone, whatever. I'm just going to talk about how they position it. And I was watching it and it was really painful because I felt like there's a great book called The Secrets of a Great Presentation by Steve Jobs or whatever, which gives you different like rules. And this guy was actually coaching Apple how to build their keynotes at the big like in the 90s or 2000s. Like an amazing book. If you're doing talks, that book gives you the entire guidelines of how to build an amazing keynote.
Okay.
And he gives you the guidelines. And yesterday.
And what's the book again?
I think it was like the secret of insanely great presentations, or the secret of.
Okay, no matter what, we'll put a link to this somewhere on the website. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna order this now.
Yeah, it's an amazing. It's really, I think, one of the best books you can read if you're a speaker or you're doing keynotes, whatever, on how to build a really good and engaging presentation. And I felt like they basically broke every rule in that book in the worst way possible.
So they wrote a new book, what not to do.
Yeah.
In the presentation.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think about where to start. So okay. So I want to start. I'm going to start with what I think is like the overarching thing, which is the trap Apple is in right now. Like, you should stop hyping commodity. The biggest problem Apple has is that their new products might be amazing, but the phone is a commodity. It's not revolutionary anymore. It was revolutionary. You have crazy things in it, but it's not. It's a commodity.
It used to be the all-in-one. That was the idea.
Yeah,
so but it wasn't just a phone. Yeah, it was, now you have a camera,
it's like the same
camera.
The same way you wouldn't hype a Mac anymore. It'd just be the best computer, etc. But you're not expecting the Mac to be revolutionary anymore in a way. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, it's a new computer. You're expecting it to be, I don't know, better looking, faster, better. But that's your initial. You're not expecting to be surprised by what you're about to see. You're expecting to see like a bump in how better it is than the first one.
Yeah, or some gimmick. Like the new computers that they have with the mouse pad is a screen. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Like that's a new gimmick.
So like nobody is excited about like a computer as a computer. It's a commodity. And the iPhone is a commodity right now. Smartwatches are a commodity right now. So everything they are doing right now is an evolution.
For example, with the X, the revolution thing is the infrared sensor, no?
Yeah, but it's an evolution. It's not a revolution. You know what I mean?
Okay, got it.
It's like it's a better version of a product you already own. It's like a new microwave.
I think they introduced it in the 10. It's kind of like, hey, we're trying this out, and then when they introduced the 10s, it's like, hey, this is solid. And then when it goes solid, for me, you're talking to developers also there. Isn't it also like turning around saying, hey, this is solid enough you can start developing on?
No, because it's not the developers conference. It's not the iOS one. I just felt like, okay, so it's a commodity. Everybody owns a phone. It's a microwave. It's a TV. You don't see any events hyping a TV, how amazing a regular television is.
I get it.
And so I think that's the first thing, is that you can't keep winning with trying to overhype something that is not hyped. So like Google, for example, they moved away. They talk about their services, which are getting amazingly better. You have duplex and you have all the things. So like Apple, instead of moving on into what is actually exciting about that product, talking about the cameras again, you already know what they're going to talk about. Better camera, faster, more lenses, more. It's not interesting.
More lenses.
Yeah, like you can literally basically copy paste every event, just like change the numbers. 5 lenses, 12 lenses,
30 lenses.
Yeah, whatever. And so it's not interesting in any way. So the problem is that they're trying to hype commodity, so it just looks ridiculous by now, right? Like there's nothing you can say or show about that phone that would actually be so fucking crazy anymore. So you're hyping a commodity. It's not gonna work. So second of all, is that I kind of feel that they lost how they storytell things, and I think the watch was like the best example of this, because the watch I was watching the presentation, and engineering wise, I think it's probably like groundbreaking. It truly
is the heart monitor.
Everything. I think the watch is for health especially, and for exercise and the ability and what they put into it. I think it's groundbreaking in a way that I don't think they have any real competition in the market in terms of how smart that thing is. Now, the problem is that it's not exciting to listen to how you trace hard money. It's like interesting that you can use this instead of like AKG. It's interesting that you can use it for like different sports, etc. But once you get somebody explaining how they understand, like we have a new feature.
No,
the watch knows when you fall. So it's like, okay, dude.
That's for old people.
No, first of all,
and it alerts your nurse.
yeah, but so first of all, what I felt is that like, okay, so it's a feature. It's not exciting. And understanding how does it happen, it only like nobody cares how like the I don't care about how it does things, right? You care mostly about what's the benefit of it.
Yeah, that's okay. So I had a company that I worked with which was all about health and stuff, and the concept was turning around and telling them, guys, it's not about the fact that you're collecting this data. It's about the insights you give me that I can do with this data. It's about affecting my life.
But it's even more because in like with the watch, they started talking about health and they started talking about exercise, etc. That's cool. Now, I think, for example, for exercise, if you start storytelling about obesity in the U.S. and you start talking about how much weight people lost with this, and now we're adding this and this, but then that's a story that's a bit more interesting. If you go to health and you talk about people with these diseases and how this improves their lives, and then you go through the features through how this improves these lives. If you go through the feature of how your grandparents can now be cooler with the watch because it can help them, so all the information about the watch becomes interesting. But listen to him explain how it works, that you put your finger on the digital crown, and that one feature like that is interesting because you see, oh my God, they had so much crazy technology. But I felt that they were just trying to convince you that they were just keep saying, you're not wowed, but you should be. You're not wowed, but you should be, instead of wowing you. So he would say this thing and then would just explain why you should be super excited. And like, dude, but I'm not excited. And
excite me instead of telling me why I should be.
Yeah, and it was...
which could have been, for example, if they connected with a company and they're creating some sort of something that they were doing with it that could actually do some sort of impact or make some sort of change,
or bring a person who, like,
these are the people we tested it with.
They lost weight. Yeah, you know what I would love is even if they brought in like an elderly person talking about his experience, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, that would have been very weird, but it would have been really cool.
But it would have been interesting. Yeah. Instead of this person,
you don't expect that to happen at all.
And the Apple Watch, which is supposed to be crazy, innovative and interesting, instead of being that, it basically I felt like I went to a medical device show, and I was just walking through features that can keep older people safe.
So you now know what to get your grandpa for his birthday.
Yeah, okay, which again is still fine. You need to make the story interesting for me, because if not, then you kind of lose me on it, because it's not like I'm not excited about hearing about more features that I'm not using, or like I'm not thinking about, oh, I might fall next time and now the Apple Watch can do the SOS call. It's not, you don't have any context for it.
It's really funny that that's the target market that they're aiming for.
No, but I get it, because the watch for health is huge, and also I think it's going to open like the next door for Apple in where it can be.
Yeah, we all understand that the Care Kit is where they're trying to aim, and improving that and creating more things that can be based off of it is also somewhere they're aiming.
Yeah, but at some point you have to like bring me into your story instead of saying like we have this and now we have this. So one of the things they lost.
It's kind of like they're introducing a paintbrush.
Yeah.
Without showing us the art.
Right.
They're like going 1 million bristles.
Right.
And you're like, what?
So that, I think that one's like what Steve Jobs needs to do really well is to bring you the life into the story. What's the situation where this would become a aha moment for you? And that's lacking.
What is going on with their marketing if that's the situation?
I don't know.
Because we've seen commercials that are feature-centric, which you've expressed also, and I expressed some of the ones I really love, like the ones that are not feature-centric, like the Spike Jones one and stuff. It's like I feel like they're kind of all over, and it's also weird for me when you're a company this big to be making these kind of mistakes.
So I was kidding, because when they were showing the iPhone, I think at one point, so one of the we went to see the event. Every time there's an Apple event, we either watch it at like the PayPal or.
So I didn't understand why Netflix didn't do something with it. I would have expected like Netflix to have like it live or something, or.
No, but I think they're
Are they competitors? Because
they're gonna be competitors.
Maybe.
No, but
the TV.
So every time there's an event, we go to one of the companies like Friends. So we went to PayPal. We went to JoyTunes to watch the event. And basically, this guy comes in and he's like, "Hey, let's talk about it." And I'm like, "Oh, it's just like reading off the product template that you get with the product."
The brochure.
Yeah, he's reading the brochure. So he's
going 40 times.
Yeah, so he's just reading that out loud for an hour now. And so I felt like the story arc for any of the projects like went totally lost. And one of the things Steve Jobs once said, I think one of the most famous things he said like, other companies sell you bits and bytes, we sell you emotion, or we send you. And yesterday was like lack of emotion, all about bits and bytes, nothing about a story. And then which drives into the next thing, which is like one of the best things Steve Jobs knew how to do. And I hate that I'm doing the Steve Jobs versus Apple now, but in terms of marketing,
Steve Jobs, it's just someone who knew what he was doing.
Yeah, so he basically knew that when you talk about numbers, you have to give really good context to make numbers count. So the most famous one is like 1,000 songs in your pocket. So the 1,000 sounds super impressive in your pocket, makes you understand how small it is.
Anything that's 1,000 in my pocket, I'm very happy.
Right.
I don't even care if it's gumballs, it could be Skittles or M&Ms. It could be money. It could be cents.
You have context. It's in your pocket. There's like a thing which is like a tremendous effort in a small. You get it
tiny in your pocket. Yeah.
And yesterday they were talking about what was like now we got it from 600 million transmitters to 5 billion or trillion. And I was like, dude, nobody knows what it means. More than nobody understand what the nanometers or the transmitters means for me as a product. I get faster, whatever. Nobody fucking cares.
Fast.
Like faster is not interesting. Like it's not. You're not going from like it's going to take you days to.
Remember the Google Chrome? I think it was Google Chrome faster internet ads. That they did? That's kind of what you're talking about. What you want, like you want to say, if you're going to tell me it's going to be 1 bazillion nanobytes faster, show me it in something visual that I can actually understand it. Because I don't have any billion of anything. I don't have a billion of anything.
Yeah, no.
What do you have a billion of?
No, it's like it's also like is it is the difference between me clicking an app, making coffee, and then the app loading? What's the difference? What does it actually do for me? And going about
I guess maybe they can commit to that. Maybe that's the idea.
I don't know, but you have like 6 hours.
There is better ways.
First of all, your mind doesn't even grasp 600 million versus 5 trillion. You don't get what it means.
No, it means nothing to me.
Right? Like
you just said words.
Yeah, it's just it's like there's nothing you can grasp or compare. It's not like saying if you would spread them now, we can get from the Earth to the Moon with the. So that would be like okay,
I get that. That's a lot of stuff that I can use to get to the Moon.
Right, but that's like.
But if you said it's 10 times the amount of whatever, maybe I could kind of.
I don't know what the transmitters do.
X10 is good enough for me.
But like I don't have context in terms of like what does the upgrade means for me as a user, and then the numbers. It's like okay. So what does the number mean? Is it important? Is it good? Is it not good? Like 600 million is now old. What does it mean? And I think one of the next things that they really fucked up with is that they became obsessed with features versus benefits. They're just like saying, hey, it can do this and this and this, but there's no benefit to it. Like, I think the best example, I saw it in the audience who watched the show with us. Watch like the event.
I saw it in the audience there. People cutting their wrists.
No, what I saw is that he was talking about the camera, and again, they're always talking about more makeup, whatever. And everybody's like, okay. And then he showed the feature with the bokeh thing, where you can.
You could change the aperture.
And you saw the room coming to life because that's cool.
Yeah, I felt the same thing when you actually mentioned that before. I was like, That's the only part I was really excited about.
That's the only part you actually remember from the entire thing.
That's that, pretty much.
And because that was the first time. That was the first time they were like, like this is something you can use thanks to the technology we developed. That's cool. That's for me.
Yeah.
Everything else is like okay, so it's just like a more expensive iPhone I already have.
That's interesting. Let me ask you a question, okay? Because when you talk about they're creating a product, and the product is people create software and apps and different things for. How much do they really owe us to talk about things like that aperture thing? And maybe it's just they create a product and they're I understand the presentation was for people like us who are supposed to understand.
It's to hype the Apple community.
Yeah, but I
don't think nobody is hyped by more nanometers.
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm getting that. So I'm saying like maybe the way that they needed to present this was having more of the people developing apps for them present more of the apps that they're using. They're able to do things with the capabilities of the technology.
Okay, so that's I think the next thing, because they had these 3 people talking about the games they developed, the basketball thing.
Yeah.
So
actually, when that kind of came on, I got to be honest,
you zone out.
I fast forwarded.
Yeah, because it's not interesting.
Because I really wanted to see the headphones, and there's no headphones, and they fucked me over.
So for me, what I really
I've been telling my wife not to buy new headphones because I want those.
I think there's a point. It's like when you buy expensive wine, right? So if you're not a big like wine drinker, or if you're not really big on like really tasting wine and understanding wine, there's a budget limit where above that budget you don't understand it's a better wine. Like you would understand like the difference between like a $10 and a $50. Your mouth is not developed enough. The regular person, the average Joe, your palate, right? That's the word.
That's the word.
Is not developed enough.
The douchiest word
that you understand about.
This is too salty for my palate.
For my palate,
I'd like to return this.
So you don't get. Most of the people would never get the difference between a $200 wine and a $1,000 wine, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because you cross the level where you actually see the nuance, and I think with a lot of the features they've been showing, it's the same thing. You don't get the difference between how good this camera is versus the other one, probably, until you either use it or you see something that's totally different. But for me, I was looking at it.
Wait, is this now just become a competition of my iPhone is better, is still relevant compared to your Android?
I don't think your iPhone is relevant like with your iPhone.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's now become...
I'm not sure.
Really, how many bazillion of megapixels do I need before I'm actually just happy with the picture?
And so they show you things.
But they have to up it every year because Google's going to say our new Android phone is... But
you know what? But that's the thing. I think Google is outwinning them because Google is not going to go into our camera is better. They're just going to talk about an interesting feature you care about.
Actually, I think they focus more on the light, which is way more interesting. I know. Yeah. I don't really like. They say, "Hey, this picture can be lit up even in bad lighting," and I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." Because sometimes I take pictures in bad lighting, and that's more interesting to me than the quality. I'm not printing pictures anymore.
But I think
I don't care about the megapixel.
I think, and that's like the last thing I was thinking about is that you have to give everything the right kind of positioning. So talking about having 2 hours event. Talking about the elderly safe device and a phone that is not extraordinary in any way versus like the old version, 2 hours was just too fucking much. They should have made like an hour. Like if it's not a big deal,
don't make it seem like it is.
Yeah.
Don't drag it on.
Because it becomes...
Because then we hate you.
Yeah, and it becomes so... it just looks that they're trying so hard, and you can even see them, and even like the guy on the stage is like, dude, you're not excited. You don't care about this.
Yeah, my wife was like, is he reading this off a prompter? I'm I'm pretty sure he is. I don't think he remembers these numbers.
And even, Apple used to be one of those companies where they give you like mental suggestions throughout the talk, and you start using their phrase, most revolutionary device, the thinnest notebook. Nobody ever cared about thin notebook until they started saying the thinnest notebook.
Pencil or something.
Yeah. Nobody ever cared about how thin your notebook is. They cared about weight. They never cared about how thin it was before the...
It's actually really good stuff. That even had that song by that Israeli artist...
Yeah. So they actually made you care about features nobody cared before. Like thin. You cared about weight. Yeah, by the way, you didn't even care about weight for a long time. Yeah. But you just wanted...
You just assumed it was going to be heavy anyways.
Yeah. And they brought it...
It's powerful.
And now, there's nothing there. And even, the words they use, it's like the same fucking thing.
Well, the watch is thinner, right?
Yeah.
That kind of got me a little excited because it does look a little bulky. I'm staring at your wrist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
I don't have a watch.
I don't have one. I don't have a watch on me at all. But at least I'm not wearing a bulky one.
So my issue was, if it's not, it's like I'm using this. I think the second time in this pod. It's like a good pop song,
Okay, yeah. Like just gonna repeat the same lines.
Because
we'll make it snazzier.
Yeah, we're gonna remix it later.
All right.
Like the thing with pop songs is that every second after the third minute, you have to work really hard to justify why it's longer than 3 minutes, right?
Okay.
It's the same thing. The keynote could have been an hour. It wouldn't make it exciting because nothing was exciting about what they launched.
But you wouldn't have felt that you lost an extra hour.
Right. And I just felt like, okay, he told me what I need to know. He just launched the product. He didn't try to convince me. He just
told me, hey, we got this. This is what's going on.
Yeah.
Want to keep being Apple?
Do it.
Yeah. Let's be honest, that's why we buy it. We don't buy it because it's that much better. It's just like, do you still want to be an Apple person?
And seeing this person finding, and again, and another thing is like the naming of things. Yesterday, I was talking with this guy next to me. I was like, do you remember when you bought like your first VHS? And it has like a weird name, VHS T911, and I was like, and then I was watching them presenting the iPhone XSR. I was like, that's how you get that's how you get there. And I was like, what's with the fucking like? Why would you first of all? Why couldn't you just keep it with the plus thing? Why do you have to introduce the Max to to make it more complicated? And second is like, what's with the XR, XS? It's like, I call it the iPhone Thinks, basically, now. It's like iPhone Thinks. That's what it is.
Thanks.
But I just, it was just so much complexity that was not supposed to be there. And it's like, he's hyping the new phone, which is like obviously kind of the same, but a bit better. And then he has to go and introduce like the okay one, I guess.
Yeah.
The R one.
I like the okay one.
Which is, it's like.
Poverty one.
Yeah. It's like.
No, but wait.
I felt it was like, this is like the right one.
We need it right now.
And why is it R? What the fuck does the R stand for?
Retarded.
Why couldn't
reduce price?
Like why? Yeah.
I love when I really think we should film the room where they come up with it. They're like going, we're gonna call this one the R, Y, and then they just have like a million different reasons.
Right. No, because I felt like they could have kept with the Plus and the SE. And
actually,
then,
right would also be good.
Yeah.
I want to get this, but I can't afford it. All right, tell me about that.
I just kind of think like, is it better than this is the right phone?
This is the right one for you. Like I looked at your bank account, and this is the right one for you.
No, it's like it's a normal price versus the other shit.
No, but okay. I really hate that they did it in a way where you definitely don't want to buy it, and if you do, it hurts.
They did it in a way.
The camera. They haven't had that simple camera since
they bought
6.
it.
I think even a 7 had 2, right? I don't know.
This phone is for you to buy for your teenage kid.
No, your teenage kid doesn't want that phone.
No, it's like the 5C. You know what?
He doesn't want that phone.
It's the same strategy they had. They would because of the color. Because kids are stupid. And I think it's a mixture of their SE strategy with, you remember they had the C strategy?
Kids are going to want the Max. That's my opinion.
I know, it's too fucking big.
That's exactly it. They're not like us. They don't have to put it in their pocket. They put it in their bag. And second, they're using their phone for videos, YouTube, for video games.
Maybe.
That's
you know
what?
I agree. You know what? I agree. But it's like
my my kid who's in 2nd grade now would slap me upside my head if I told him, hey, I'm going to get you a colorful phone or this one over here. And he'd be like, I want the gold one, bitch.
I felt that like they take 2 failed experiments, which you remember they had a 5C one?
Yeah.
And the SE, which is also kind of a failed experiment. And they brought everything that's wrong about these 2 phones together.
Into one?
Right? Like the people who love the 5C thing, the SE
color,
one.
They like the color one?
No, I think the SE was about, I don't need a big phone. I just want something that works really well. And that was a good enough phone.
Yeah.
SE should have been like GE, like good enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
GE.
And the color thing was, it's playful.
Actually, it's General Electric, so we
yeah. So they can sue. And the colorful phone was supposed to be just like, it's young, it's cheaper, so you can buy it. Like, it's even, like, your parent can make the Android versus iPhone decision easier.
I'm gonna get the cheaper phone and the watch for my grandpa. That's what I decided. There you go. I don't want to spend too much money. He's old. He does not use it.
So if I have... So I always think that nobody can learn anything from Apple's marketing because Apple is Apple and they can basically say whatever they
but here's a lot of
their
things.
slogan can just be like iPhone, just buy the next one, okay?
Yeah.
That could be like the slogan on their website.
We did the same thing again.
Right. Yeah. Like basically what they can do is just like use the same photo from last one and say that it's the new one.
It's the new one, yeah.
It's like go to the store.
You sure could do that. Like, actually, you know what's funny? They had that video that they did with the 2 hands. You saw that one where they're introducing the phone and they have these hands that cross and they're turning it around. And I'm going, oh my god, they're gonna show that both sides are screens, something crazy like that. And it was like, no, they're 2 sizes. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not so.
Yeah, that's basically the line that you had up until now.
You did nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing in the back has changed.
Yeah, I don't want to buy your XSR.
If we had to quickly sum up what we learned from this that you can learn for your... So are we talking to people who have a product, or are we talking to people who have a service?
A company. If you're building your landing page, your homepage, your one-pager, whatever about your product or service. So the things that I would take from this is, I think it's just a classic of mistakes, and I don't get how fucking like Apple didn't do it better. Is one, you have to storytell about your product. Don't just tell me what the product does. Give me context. Why do I need it? Why is it going to be exciting for me? Who is the person who's about to use it and why it's good for them? Next one should be about talking about numbers should have really specific context. So people don't grasp numbers usually. You have to give it a context in a way that somebody can relate to. So, for example, if your video editing software and your rendering is really fast, don't talk about how many frames per second. Talk about like you won't even get to make your coffee before it's done. Whatever. Or you can save X amount of time by whatever. Next thing is features versus benefits. Focus on benefits and how get me to the wow moment where I say, oh, this is why this feature is so cool for me, versus just saying there's another feature, right? Editing like a pro is a benefit. 700 different features of how to edit, nobody really cares. If you feel that when you talk about your messaging, nobody gets why what you're doing is amazing, then change your pitch, change your story. Don't convince me that I should be impressed. If I'm not impressed, I'm not. Next one is like if what you're doing is not groundbreaking, it's okay. Not everything you do has to be revolutionary. Don't hype it as it is. Like if it's not. If it's like just a better is not revolutionary, but it's just better,
because
nicer,
I'm
easier.
Sick of hearing every year that it's revolutionary.
Yeah,
it's not.
And also like just don't overhype what shouldn't be hyped. It's like one of the companies that I've worked with developed an app for their web platform, and they were like, this is like on the go. And I was like, this is going to be the huge story that you can have your product, but I'm not going to say what they do, on the go. And I was like, it's 2018. It's like mobile first world. On the go is not a story anymore. It's actually you lagging behind.
Yeah, you're late.
Right. So, and also make sure that your messaging or the length of your page, whatever, is as long as it should be, not more or not less. So provide the information that needs to be provided. Don't go overboard just because you feel insecure or whatever it is you're feeling. So a 2-hour event could have been 1 hour.
That's actually interesting. It's if someone was making a pitch to you and they were making a pitch sharp and correctly, it would be way more effective than someone who's throwing so much information at you looks like he's desperate.
Yeah, 1,000 songs in your pocket is impressive as hell. Is interesting. I want to ask you about the next thing.
Yeah.
Versus you talking to me about how the device is built, whatever. I don't care about this at the beginning, right?
Cool.
There's always like, is it too long, too short? If it still drives value, if it still gets attention, that's the right length. If it doesn't, it's not.
Yeah.
Super simple.
Sounds awesome.
So Nike and Apple, step up your shit.
Yeah, guys. Start making some money.
Yeah.
One day you'll be big like us.
Yeah, get your shit together. Start a podcast.
Yeah, start a podcast about marketing. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. We spoke about a lot of crazy stuff. We would actually like to hear a lot more back from you guys, to hear if you guys are liking the format, if you like the way we talk about stuff, what's going on. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, and we'll keep bringing it. Bringing it. All right. Thanks.
Bye, guys. If you like it, review, comment,
subscribe,
share.
Send
a gift card. Share with your grandma. Share with your grandpa. Make a meme.
Take a picture of yourself listening to the podcast in a very unique spot, and we'll share it on our socials.
Yeah, and remember that if you like this podcast, you should sacrifice everything.
Yeah, sacrifice everything for a podcast you believe in. All right.
Yeah.
Peace.